and nothing over the phone.
Alright.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes.
You know what?
All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Yeah.
Jay reach out yet?
Nah, Pop. He ghosting.
Hey, this motherfucker doing? These things sweet now, because I'm in here.
It's all good. You about to get out on bail.
Everybody out there quiet as motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
Got all these lawsuits though, Pop.
Ain't none of them getting shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. But for money hungry,
While Diddy's over-the-top lifestyle necessitates high-level protection, it seems Diddy's son has found himself caught in the crosshairs of this man's unflinching duty. But why exactly does Diddy's bodyguard make him look like he's perpetually walking on eggshells? Is it just the sheer intimidation factor, or is there more to the story? Let's dig into what's really going on, because believe it or not, there's more than just a father-son dynamic at play here.
You don't invite a man to your private unless you doing the Diddy. If two men lay down, how many homos get up? Let me tell you, young man, 2 of them. You understand? So don't invite a man to your private, because that man will see you and take your head off. Especially somebody like 50. You don't send or let a boy do a man's job. I don't know if he need that type of attention or he want that type of attention. Evidently he do.
You've been to some crazy parties, I'm sure. What's the strangest interaction you've had at a party that was like, what's happening right now?
I remember I was lit and I just started dancing with Paris Hilton. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts. What song was playing?
I don't even know. It was one of those nights.
Yeah, okay, all right.
If we're talking about Christian Combs, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, the fact that he's inherited a good chunk of his father's swagger and penchant for controversy. Sure, Christian has the privilege of living in his dad's world of luxury, but he's also picked up on some of Diddy's less than polished traits, including a talent for making headlines, sometimes for all the wrong reasons.
Was you just fighting people in the club?
No, I was being the better person in the club, and I want to always be the better person, and I want to start practicing being an advocate for mentorship programs for entrepreneurs that's making money.
You just fighting in the club, yes or no? I don't want.
No, we didn't have a fight. We had a big argument right outside the club.
And who started it?
This time, I think I got loud and got aggressive, but it was the 3rd time it's happened. And so I felt like I needed to stand up for myself. Even though I was talking shit and we was having a lot of crazy words, I was walking that way to avoid the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that's what happened. And it's unfortunate, but what's dope is that we all got on the phone. We talked for about 35 minutes.
You that.
And I'm letting you know this, brother. That's your pops. Make it good with your pops, bro. Make it good with your pops. Because you are a part of him.
How you feel about it personally?
I feel that Kim knew that he wanted to love on his son. And she kept Al away from Quincy because of Puff, and I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. Other than that, for some strange reason, Puff always want to claim something that ain't his. I just think that it's a lot of brainwashing that went on.
Take the time Justin Combs, the other son of Diddy, was involved in that infamous UCLA altercation back in 2015. He was playing football at the time, and after a coach reportedly gave him a tough critique, Diddy, never one to back down, showed up with all the fury of a dad who thinks his kid deserves better. What followed was a confrontation so intense that it ended with Diddy being charged with misconduct.
Some people feel like, Diddy, he played a part in that video coming out too. Him being spotted with Stevie J, smiling at the camera. A lot of people blame him too.
But bro, what did I tell you? He's such a narcissist that he has to be in the public. Listen to me. They just caught him on TMZ today or yesterday or something like that, walking out and about. Now, I'm not telling the man what to do, what he couldn't do. I don't know if the government told he couldn't travel nowhere, he couldn't be nowhere and stuff like that. But why are you gonna go outside your own compound where TMZ and every other place is waiting on you? You're not gonna get any public sympathy. That's why he had that picture of him and his father around his neck. You're not going to get no sympathy. You're done. Stick a in it. Call it a quit. Apologize to Big's mother for putting her son in that position that he loses his life.
Is Diddy going to jail?
I think that the easiest thing to do is to get somebody on some money laundering. Diddy have over 18 companies that he was dealing with. He put every business in his children's name or his mother's name. I don't think any of those businesses are straight into his name. So there's got to be some shadiness going on somewhere. The government wouldn't ask for all the IRS papers, all the tax papers for the last 3 years of any of his companies if they didn't think something was going on. So if he doesn't go for any of the assaults or something like that, it may be something having to do with tax evasion, money laundering, or something like that. Or maybe even drugs or something.
Now, let's think about how that kind of environment shapes Quincy. Imagine knowing your dad will throw down if someone so much as looks at you sideways. Add in a bodyguard who seems trained to neutralize any and all threats, and suddenly Quincy's fear starts to make a lot more sense.
I think that, he brainwashed those kids, and that's what narcissists and people of his caliber do to a lot of people around him. I feel like Quincy was brainwashed. I feel like Justin, the rest of them. Justin was too. Justin's mother was real strict. Misa was real strict with Justin. I think when he got with Puff, he got brainwashed.
So what would make him do what he did to Albie Shorter? If them two was cool, why would he take his girl like that?
It's a power thing. We used to be in situations, I told you, remember me and you had the discussion about, like, he wanted every girl that Pac ever had it. They want them to hurry up and charge Diddy with something or see what they got on him. The feds gonna take their time. May take 6 months, may take a year, may take 2 years. They got up to 3 years to bring their case up. They got 3 years. So they checking everything about them. They gonna dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like he played a part in that video coming out. Him making a comment saying that, they forgot to raid the house next door that his dad owned. Yeah, man, he was wilding out, man.
Yeah, I think he was just bullshitting. I don't believe he bought the house next door. Because let me just tell you something. If anything or any name that had to do with Bad Boy, the federal government gonna run that. They know all the properties Diddy have. They wasn't even talking about the raid that they did in New York, but they did a raid in New York too.
Yeah, I ain't hear about that raid. I only heard about the, the LA and Miami raid. But you feel like the feds, they released that video over King Combs' comments.
Oh man, I've worked in law enforcement for 27 years, and I had the opportunity to see Hyder.
It's not just the bodyguard's physical presence, though. The guy represents something much deeper, a constant reminder of the world Quincy was born into. Unlike most of us, who worry about mundane things like losing our car keys, Quincy lives under the shadow of fame, a world where trust is scarce, enemies lurk everywhere, and privacy is a myth. For Diddy, the bodyguard is essential, a protector of his empire. But for Quincy, it's like having a 24/7 chaperone who also happens to look like he's ready to step into a boxing ring at any moment.
But you heard about the guns they found at Diddy house with no serial numbers?
I think that that's going to be hard to prove that they're his weapons. They're going to have to prove that they was his weapons because he had other grown people living in there. And plus, that house, I believe, was in a corporation name. So they're going to have to get maids, butlers, cleaning people, or somebody that's in that house to have a daily contact to say that was his room that they found those weapons in. And then the weapons wasn't operable. You had to put them together, as far as I know, for them to be operable. So he may have had weapons there, or he may not. One of his sons, he got sons. Somebody's gonna have to claim it. They just put it on him. Anything they found in the house, they just put it on him. But they had to prove that that was him. If other people were living in the house, other people had access to that room that they found the weapons in.
And let's not forget Christian Combs' own brushes with controversy. In recent years, he's been called out for his extravagant lifestyle. Think flashy cars, lavish vacations, and designer everything. While Diddy's wealth obviously makes this possible, it's also made Christian a target for criticism. People love to accuse him of riding his dad's coattails. And some might even argue that the bodyguard's intimidating presence isn't just for Diddy, it's for Christian too. After all, a high-profile son with a tendency to flaunt his privilege doesn't exactly fly under the radar.
His son now is being sued for assault, and the alleged victim claims she has audio recordings of him forcing himself on her during a yacht party.
Actually,
did you check that out?
Yeah, I was listening to, if you don't mind me saying, Tis Tales. And she said that she was going through the whole lawsuit. And in the lawsuit, it stated that he was recording a song. And the guy, Little Rob, had it in the recording that the girl was actually fighting him off her, and he was trying to make her drink some tequila, and she said, "What's in it? Is anything in it?" And he was trying to fondle on her or whatever like that during the time. And Lil Rob picked that up at the recording. So she's a part of the lawsuit.
But Christian's similarities to Diddy go beyond the bling. Like his father, he has a knack for stirring the pot. Whether it's showing off on social media or getting caught up in public spats, Christian seems to have inherited that Combs family flair for drama. And here's where it gets interesting. Diddy's bodyguard isn't just there to protect the family from external threats. He's also there to keep everyone in line. For someone like Christian, who thrives on living large and making a statement, having a bodyguard who's essentially a walking no-nonsense policy probably feels more suffocating than reassuring.
Like father, like son. You heard me?
Bro, that's so... Oh my God, yes, I heard you, man.
That's wrong, huh?
Man, bro. Sheesh, man. I mean, gosh.
The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Man, That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. I mean, you know, she's alleging that she had to fight him off several times. You know, and she suspected that the tequila was spiked.
Right.
A lot of lawsuits. Do you suspect more lawsuits are coming?
Well, see, the thing about it is, what people don't understand is that there's people that have stuff on Diddy from way back that lawyers would not fight it or take it. But now Cassie opened up those doors. I heard that there's a guy that's going way back and say that he put on a Sean John shirt and it tried to molest him. So he's taking his shit to court.
Now about that intimidation factor. Diddy's bodyguard isn't just physically imposing, he's a presence. He doesn't do it casually. Whether he's standing in the corner of a party or walking through a crowd, he exudes an energy that says, don't even think about it. For Christian, who's trying to carve out his own identity while still existing under his dad's colossal shadow, this kind of vibe can feel less like protection and more like a constant reminder that every move he makes is being watched, and not just by the paparazzi.
When Puffy was taking phones, that showed me right there he didn't trust Q. Because he said, nigga, I know you got 2 phones. Give me your second phone as well. That's somebody you don't trust when you call them out like that. You call your own son out to be like, where's your second phone? You got 2 phones. Give me that. You ain't taking that second phone to this party either.
Even in seemingly normal moments, the bodyguard's presence creates tension. Imagine Christian bringing friends over, only for them to be greeted by a man who looks like he trains for the apocalypse. Or picture him trying to enjoy a night out, only to have the bodyguard silently scanning the room like he's expecting a coup. For someone who's already navigating the pressures of fame and family legacy, this level of scrutiny can feel downright oppressive.
They better slow down. They gotta understand their daddy is fighting for his life. And it's better to fight for your life on the streets than it is behind bars. And so everything that they're doing right now is jeopardizing their daddy's freedom, if they really care about him. I kind of wonder if they really care about him, because I have seen some articles recently online where it appears that the one that Wax saying that they saw with that likes to fuck on transgenders and all of that, Christian is trying to fight the mother now over some, say over who's in charge of making the decisions, which is funny, which I think is just somebody that wanted to write an article, because Puffy still have the ability to do that. Now, the good thing about it is Puffy was on life support or something like that, then that may be an issue. Puffy is still able to talk and make those decisions, which I think he better get in line real quick and decide who he's gonna have in charge. Because you don't want your 80-something-year-old mother, y'all would say, his 80-something-year-old auntie, but hey, if he called her his mama, that's his mama. I don't even know why y'all even saying that.
And let's not forget the father-son dynamic here. Diddy is notorious for running his empire with precision and control, and it's clear he expects the same from his kids. The bodyguard isn't just there to keep physical threats at bay, he's also a symbol of Diddy's expectations. Discipline, loyalty, and the ability to handle the pressure of being a Combs. For Quincy, who's no stranger to living it up and occasionally stepping out of line, this probably feels like being under a microscope 24/7.
Diddy told her he was gonna kill Biggie. She knew it was gonna happen. She was purposefully not by her husband's side that night. It happened, and she was told she had to lie about it. And guess what? That lie held up until that boy turned 18. And he started having ideas of what he wanted to do with what he inherited. Because the paperwork was set up for Faith to not be able to receive $1 from Biggie's estate unless it was for little Christopher. And she only had one child with Christopher. The other children, who required taken care of and feeding and all of that, all of them couldn't be fed off of Christopher Wallace's money. They weren't his kids. See how that works?
Right.
So is Quincy truly terrified of the bodyguard? Maybe not in the classic sense, but it's clear that the guy represents more than just physical protection. He's a symbol of Diddy's power, control, and the impossible standards that come with being a part of one of the most famous families in the world. For Quincy, that's a lot to live up to and a lot to live with.